Doing it. I'm not doing it. Hey there, everybody. How's it going? It's great to be back, and I need to mute my computer because I can hear the show playing. It's great to be back from the holidays, and I know we have some people with us today. I believe we have Remy on the line.
Hey,
somewhere over the rainbow. Good. Hey there. How you doing?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Did you have a good holiday?
I had a great holiday. My Christmas Eve was literally perfect.
Oh, that's good.
We had eggnog, we had some recreational activities, and we roasted chestnuts and watched White Christmas.
Can't complain about that. Christmas
It was a pretty good. It was a pretty traditional Christmas if you were in Colorado.
Were you in Colorado?
No, I was here.
You're just celebrating the Colorado version of Christmas.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Can't complain. Mine was pretty relaxing, and Christmas Day was busy. We had people over, and it was fun, and we should have Ken sometime shortly as well. And hopefully, I hear him. How you doing, Ken? Well, we can hear you. How was your holidays?
Oh, I actually can't hear him.
Now, yeah, I can't hear him now. He vanished. I can hear you.
Hey.
There we go. How was your holidays, Ken?
Excellent. Didn't do much. New Year's I brought in. I did a little bit. I ran around some couple events, stopped in some houses, stuff like that. But it was relaxing overall. No complaints.
New Year's was peaceful. Everybody in the house went camping, and I had the house to myself. So it's just me, Quinn, and the evil cat.
So you really enjoyed that?
Yeah. Well, I was also house sitting, so I'd go back and forth to my friend's house because he was out of town, so I was watching his dogs. And all the dogs at both houses were going nuts because of fireworks.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're back after being gone for 2 weeks. It's good to be back.
Yes, it is. I miss these talks.
Yeah, it's like I didn't know what to do. I'm like, we're coming back. It feels weird being gone, and really feels weird for me because the last 2 weeks I've been sitting over in a corner looking that way, and I can actually look straight now and see everything better. So, well, let's go ahead and start the show. Let's go ahead with our housekeeping and everything first. If you want to be a guest on the show, a cosplay guest, you just want to say that you love Ken and Remy and hate me, you can email us at Michael.
You can also email them if you hate me. That's fine.
You can email us at home@comicbook101tv, info@comicbook101tv.com. Also, Michael at comicbook101tv.com. Follow us on all our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of it's Comic Book 101 TV. And again, our show supporters, every week I'm up at Yancey Street Comics picking up some awesome comic books. And again, Mark Muncie at Erie, Florida. Hopefully he'll be back here soon. I know he's been busy over the holidays, so hopefully we'll have him back for an episode or two joining us. And I want to talk about comic book real quick. So do y'all pay attention to Boom Studios often?
No, not necessarily.
So Boom Studios makes the main one that I read from them is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They do all the Power Rangers comics. The other day they announced they were doing a Kickstarter for Power Ranger comics. I'm like, okay, cool, let's check this out. They're like, we're going to put all the comics in big books. Instead of your graphic novel, it'll be like a hardback book. I'm like, awesome. Then they're like, and you can also have them autographed by some of the Power Rangers that are featured in those books. I'm like, sweet, that can't be too much. The cheapest book you can get is $100.
What?
That's not autographed. The autographed ones are like $1,400.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. I'm like, no. I think I would actually just keep the comics I have and go to a convention when they start getting those autographed. It'll be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Would y'all ever pay that much for a comic? $100 for a book?
Not in my current budget, no.
Yeah.
If I did, it's gonna be like a milestone, first appearance of Batman or something, not for a new comic on Kickstarter though. I don't see a reason for that.
I always say if I win the lotto, I will buy Batman #1 first and then get an accountant, because I don't want them to tell me not to buy Batman #1.
Gotta pick up more issues and
But see, well, what would you do though if you win the lottery and you got the million, and so it's $1 million prize, but 1 million people win it? You still gonna buy Batman #1? I mean, you did win the lottery.
I would be stupid and buy a comic with it.
If my financial situation changed, yeah.
But I still don't think I would buy $100. Yeah, there you go, right there. Sets, and
yeah, but it looks cool.
They look cool. Don't get me wrong, but the price that.
But how much does that entire set cost? If you said $1,400 per comic,
that's for one book autographed. If I'm right, when I went through the Kickstarter.
So there's what, 6 of them?
I think they went up to like $5,000 on the Kickstarter.
What?
Yeah. It went crazy for the prices on there. I'm like, I'm not paying that much for Power Ranger. Oh yeah, you get pins depending how high up you go. I'm like, no, I'll wait. I backed the Jason David Frank movie for the White Ranger movie. That was enough for me.
Yeah.
And it's good that's being made now. So hopefully we'll get some information on that soon. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about this week. So let's go ahead and start with our cosplayer of the week.
Cool.
So our cosplayer of the week is on Instagram, he_art_of_imagination, and it's_so_fluffy_cosplay, and Facebook Rebecca Argu, I think is how you pronounce the last name. I apologize if I mispronounced it. But the questions we asked: what got you into cosplay? My friend invited me to go to MetroCon in 2015, and it's all history from there. That's also the first year that they discovered anime. What do you love about cosplaying? Anybody can do it, which is true. Everybody can do it. I love seeing people in cosplay characters they love, no matter what they look like. For me, it helped me become more confident in my own skin, and it helped me be less shy. What's your favorite cosplay? I absolutely love Kaneki and Open Shirt Dobby, and can't choose between both of them. What's your next cosplay? I plan to begin Hinami cosplay from Tokyo Ghoul, which is a great anime right there if you haven't seen it. So yeah, some awesome cosplays right there. Ken disappeared. But yeah, some awesome cosplays. Again, if you want to be a cosplay guest, just email us at info@comicbook101tv.com, michaelcomicbook101tv.com. Message us on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Just hit us up and we'll definitely have you on. And also, across the hall, we got the Nerdosphere, which is kicking up even more. We did another live stream over there for the D&D games. It's looking really cool with the shop getting all set up. We got some 3D print miniatures I've been working on, and that's been a lot of fun right there. So if you want to stream your D&D games, Warhammer, anything, just hit us up and they'll definitely be able to get you going on that. It's been a lot of fun. We're looking forward to the next session this Sunday at 3 p.m. on Nerdosphere on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. They'll be streaming on.
Cool.
So, and I've been having fun with my 3D printer. I know you can't really see the detail right here, but I love Power Rangers, and I made a Power Ranger little SPD badge.
Nice.
Cooked that up last night. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to paint it and display it now. So, I'm a Power Ranger dork. I love my Power Rangers. But let's get into the topic. It's an interesting topic. So, comic book movies have been real big lately, especially with Avengers Endgame, Iron Man, even James Cameron's Avatar film. There's been a lot of hit movies. Then there's been some movies that didn't quite make it, like Howard the Duck, the new Hellboy, that just kind of flopped. And what's y'all's favorite worst comic book movie?
The Spirit.
Spirit.
The favorite worst one? Actually, yeah, the Spirit sucked. Favorite worst? If I got to go in the same vein as his, I'll go with Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine would be still one of my favorite comics. I collect all the figures, got several tattoos of it. I love Todd McFarlane to death, but Spawn.
I thought you were going to say Green Lantern, but
So
I really thought he was going to
Spawn
say
is up there too.
I was there with you.
no, no, I don't want to talk about Green Lantern. We bashed on that so much. So Green Lantern, we all came to a conclusion. Green Lantern is the worst movie, and we're not putting it on the list.
I could think of much worse than Green Lantern.
Okay, but
we can start with Steel, or we can start with Batman and Robin. There's a lot worse than Green Lantern, but it's definitely not the best one.
I think Green Lantern is kind of like when people talk about weird things that happen in games. You remember Metal Gear Solid with Psycho Mantis?
Yeah.
That you could like pull your controller out and put it in a different one.
Yeah, and it would read your
cool.
read the memory card and know what games you played by the same company.
Yeah, I feel like that Green Lantern, like the movie, is that for a list of weird things we did in games. Like everybody knows that one, you know?
So how I put the list, I put a lot of them. I put like such and such movie versus this movie that was like a remake or something. So I threw the good ones in with a bad one to kind of compare them. Because a lot of comics they tried doing in movies, some were good, some were awful, like sequel-wise. And the first one I want to talk about, because we haven't actually talked about the character much as his own single comic. We've talked about them in Justice League and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and start with probably the biggest name in comics, Superman. Superman's a great comic. The movie's even better. And there's been several different Supermans. So I did this with the original Christopher Reeve movie. Superman 1978 versus Superman 4 Quest for Peace. Which is the worst one out of the series.
Obviously, 4. I mean, they tried for a good They tried for a good message, which I think is part of the problem. They overdid it.
So the first Superman,
Superman's classic.
You get the whole origin story of him landing on Earth, growing up, being taught everything. Then you see him become Superman, everything that Superman is with Lois. Then when it came to 4, they're like, oh, we're going to get rid of all the nuclear warheads. Superman, you see him throwing them up in space and everything. Then Lex decides, I'm going to make Nuclear Man to fight him. And they steal a piece of Superman's hair that's in like the museum in DC or something. And it's tied, just a single strand is tied to like a big giant weight. And you see him steal that one piece of hair. I'm like, if the hair is that strong, how did he cut the hair?
Now, as a side note that you told me about a couple episodes ago, John Cryer is Luthor's nephew in here.
That's why I put that photo on there.
And the Supergirl thing.
I saw that photo. I'm like, I need to put that one in there because he ends up playing Lex in the future. But I remember...
he got the hair clearly because Superman lasered it off himself and gave it to the museum.
But I remember...
He would do that. He'd be like, yeah, no problem.
The drunk Superman, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching this as a kid, and I loved Superman as a kid and just could not get into this one. I'd rather watch Superman 3, which is still not the best one, than watch Quest for Peace.
Okay, with Superman 3 had Richard Pryor, right?
Yeah.
I was cool with that one. Superman 4 doesn't want to jump the shark for me, whatever they call it.
But then,
whatever.
Let's even go further with Superman. Then you get the Brandon Routh Superman. And if I'm right, that didn't even have an origin story. That just started as him as Superman from the beginning of the movie, too.
Which I actually like
a big continuation. That's why.
Yeah.
You know, so he's like, this is supposed to be Superman 1, Superman 2, Brandon Routh, Superman Returns. So they say, okay, we don't need to rehash it because literally they wanted to be a continuation.
Yeah.
The problem is that, 1, I like number 3. And 2, they made him the super negligent dad because there's no way if you're Superman, even if you leave the planet, you're not going to know that the woman you love has your kid. You know, so like, and then now, if that one had taken off, every sequel would have had to have, well, I have to take 15 minutes of the movie to be super dad, otherwise I'm a deadbeat dad. So that was my biggest problem with that one. Overall, it was okay, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
I'm going to address the origin thing later, because it's actually a bigger point on a different group that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
But yeah, I have some feelings about origin stories now in comic books.
But then we get the newer Superman, and I like the first Superman movie of the new DC I enjoyed a lot. I won't lie. I really like that.
Man of Steel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man of Steel was
It was
great.
long, but it was overall it was okay. It was a good way to bring him back.
What, Remy?
And I've said this before. My only complaint about the film, it was just too dark.
Yeah.
Like, if they just brightened up the colors and saturated the colors a little bit, kept everything the same, just brightened and saturated, you would have had a much better Superman movie.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed it. Then when it came to Superman versus Batman and all that, that's where it just wasn't good. I didn't enjoy it.
My people's is Batman versus Superman.
You know,
we changing it around for Superman.
My issue with that movie, and what I think that they did, was they were just banking on the fact that people love Batman and Superman. They kind of forgot that you have to fall in love with Ben Affleck as Batman first before you really care about his Batman.
Yeah. I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, but it takes time for the general viewer to have to fall in love with this. Like, they can wrap their head around the idea of, okay, this new guy is playing Batman. Like, they can get that, right? It's already happened a few times. But you still have to fall in love with him as Batman.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You know?
I think, to me, the biggest problem is they try to put 5 or 6 different storylines in one damn film.
Yeah.
And that's what the problem is. Like, okay, well, we don't need to have the death of Superman and Batman versus Superman, which is the highlight, what we everybody wanted to watch for, and all the other tie-ins. Let's give us one solid story.
Yeah.
Make us enjoy it, and then they build on that.
But let's go ahead and check out the trailer for Superman 4 Quest for Peace. Because it's such a great trailer.
Want to make us watch it. Okay.
The greatest hope against the threat of nuclear war is Superman.
I'm going to do what our governments have been unwilling or unable to do. Effective immediately, I'm going to rid our planet of all nuclear weapons.
The greatest threat to Superman is Lex Luthor.
Smarter than I thought. We can make the world safe for war profits.
He's created the ultimate weapon to annihilate the Man of Steel.
You'd risk worldwide nuclear war for your own personal financial gain.
Nobody wants war. I just want to keep the threat alive.
Dude of Steel. Where are you gonna get it?
You know you're a workaholic. Why don't you stop and smell the roses, huh?
Superman 4, Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman, Jackie Cooper, John Cryer, with Mariel Hemingway and Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. Superman 4, his most important adventure, the quest for peace.
So yeah, such a great, horrible movie. Let's move to the next one. So we went Marvel. I didn't put in, again, the cinematic universe for the newer movies. I want to keep it to the old ones. So it's Spider-Man versus Spider-Man 3 versus Amazing Spider-Man. And
okay.
So Spider-Man in the comics is always one of the best comics there is. He's grown so much in the comics. We've even got Miles Morales Spider-Man now in comic books. And we've talked about his origin story. We've talked about the Spider-Man comics. So everybody should hopefully know more about that. And if you want to get into that, definitely pick up the Spider-Man comics. But the first Spider-Man movie, when that first came out, was actually groundbreaking. It was awesome. Seeing everything they did with it, the story, the chemistry, just everything worked. And it's just, I enjoyed the first Spider-Man. I loved it. I became a bigger fan after watching that movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Then...
So, I've been playing Spider-Man for PlayStation recently.
Yeah.
And there's funny dilemma that happens. You hang Fisk upside down.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man says, "Should we kiss now?" And that implies that this movie exists in that show, or in that storyline. And I find that to be incredibly humorous.
That's funny.
But then we get Spider-Man 3, which when they first announced we're going to have Venom, I'm like, okay, my boy Venom's here. Todd McFarlane's character, I'm excited. And what do we get? We get Topher Grace as Eddie Brock from 70s Show. No.
So I was excited that Venom potentially led to Carnage.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I was like, oh, symbiotes, yes! And then we got this guy for like 30 seconds, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, my biggest thing is, of course, the trivia is that he didn't really want to put Venom in there. He wanted to do a Vulture, so they forced him to put Venom in. So you could tell his heart wasn't in the storyline at all.
Yeah.
But also, I won't even blame Topher for the casting. It's just the delivery, once again, because he didn't really want to do it. It's obvious. Like, it's like, okay,
Sure.
They could have cast somebody better for the role. But even with the mismatched casting, it's like, okay, what do you have to work with? Like, while Batman and Robin is one of the worst movies to me, in my opinion, is like George Clooney's not a bad actor, but look what storyline he had to work with.
Yeah.
Same type of thing.
But still, even for Peter Parker's character, when he got the symbiote suit, the dancing, the little finger guns, that
was so bad.
That's why I grabbed that photo. I'm like, oh, there's a finger gun photo. Perfect. Just show how bad that one was. The one thing I did like about it, Sandman. The actor that played Sandman, I loved him from the show Wings and everything. So seeing him doing this is great. He's a great actor. I've always loved his movies and shows that he's done. So that part made me happy. But the rest of it just... Then we get Amazing Spider-Man. And again, totally new. We get Andrew Garfield, which is way too old to be Peter Parker. He was, 30-something? Playing a college kid.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't realize he was that old. I mean, I was okay with him as a character, but I didn't realize he was that old either.
Yeah. Now, he did a decent Spider-Man, don't get me wrong, but it still wasn't a good movie, especially the second one when they brought Jamie Foxx as Electro.
Who will be in the sequel, the new one.
Yeah, he's coming back. Hopefully, with Marvel getting a hold of it, they'll change it a little bit better to be more true to a comic version of him.
Yeah. I think I've read somewhere that they're not going to do the whole blue, purplish color thing.
Yeah, I hope.
But I guess they're trying to tie in with the whole multiverse idea.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to be. That's why they were saying they're going to bring back Topher and not Topher. I mean, Toby and Andrew too.
Yeah. I'm excited, but still.
I hope Electro's the villain, and we get like Doc Ock right at the end, leaking into the next film. You know, like you just see like Doc Ock going through a little portal, and you're like, "Oh, it's Alfred Molina."
Well, they said he's coming back too, so it's possible. I mean, I would think he would have a bigger role in this, but who knows? We do that. I mean, he's a scientist, so if somebody's going to explore the multiverse, unless they do the magic like they're hinting at with Doctor Strange to do it, then he will probably be the one to find a way to do that, make it happen. So it depends on the storyline where they want to go with it.
We'll see what happens when WandaVision comes out, because that's supposed to change Phase 4.
Yeah, WandaVision is supposed to change quite a bit. But actually, Spider-Man is the character that I was going to bring up when it came to origin stories, and that was one of the reasons I liked Brandon Routh's Superman movie, was because the same reason I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man movie.
There was no origin story with it. Yeah.
We knew, like, you know the origin story, so they did that entire sequence in 2 lines.
Yeah.
So, you got bit by a spider? Yeah. Now you got powers? Yeah. That's it. That was the entire conversation, and it was like, all right, cool. That just saved 30 minutes of screen time that we can now like actually put towards better writing.
Yeah.
And now Brandon Routh didn't quite take advantage of that. Tom Holland Spider-Man did.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And they did it right. How they did it worked out perfect. Now, when it comes to origin stories with, say, Into the Multiverse, the animated one, I love how they did the origin for that. It fit perfect and everything. Then when the other Spider-Mans came, they did that whole minute little story about how they got it, and that was it.
Because they were different people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they were literally a different universe as Spider-Man.
But how they did it worked, it fit properly.
Earth 1 Peter Parker, whichever Earth it is, we know that Earth Peter Parker story. And, like, people generally know it. Yeah.
So I think we all can agree the first Spider-Man movie, out of those 3, was the best.
Yeah.
But the first one, definitely the best.
But still...
I'll go Spider-Man 3 is worst.
Yeah, I'll say Spider-Man 3 would be Amazing Spider-Man. Still not ones out. I don't watch them. If they're on TV, I'll skip them. I'll watch the original Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, then the new ones. I ignore 3, and I ignore Amazing Spider-Man.
I read a funny tweet that said, so do I have to watch Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, Spider-Man 1, 2, and Spider-Man 1 and 2 to understand Spider-Man 3?
Yeah, I saw that one. But again, Spider-Man's still a great comic if you want to get into comics. If you haven't explored Spider-Man's story, definitely pick that up. Pick up a graphic novel. You won't be upset with it. It's definitely one of the best storylines you can read. Everything with him. And then let's go to the next one. So next one, it is still a comic. It started out comic. And as a kid, it was one of my comics I grew up with, but the comics were a lot darker. And the first movie wasn't that dark. So we're going with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014. So the first one, we get the whole origin story of the Ninja Turtles, which is different, but it's still fun how they did it. And you get the origin story kind of like middle of the movie. You don't get it at the beginning. The beginning is right away. You get the Turtles, and it was a great movie.
Which I think was a smart thing to do.
Yeah, and the origin was only like 2 minutes long, just explaining what happened when they explained to April how they became that. And the first movie was still such a huge hit, and I remember going to a theater and watching it. Then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 hits. Ancient Japan, 1393, without a map, without a clue, without a pizza. The Turtles are back. They return for a daring trip back in time with their closest friend April O'Neil, who accidentally is transported to the 17th century Japan. And it got weird seeing the Ninja Turtles in samurai armor. But the worst is still the 2014. The Turtles look like they're on I don't know, steroids.
So the 2014 Turtles, I think, look like Doomsday.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the same effects team.
And I like Megan Fox, don't get me wrong. Beautiful girl, decent actress.
Great in New Girl.
Yeah. And she's great in Transformers. Can't complain with that.
Yeah. But what about her horror movie?
Oh, I don't want to talk about that movie.
Oh, Megan's Body?
Yeah. Decent movie, but no.
I feel like there's an inside joke there that I'm not getting.
I don't want to talk about that movie.
Okay.
One day.
You know how a lot of times actors want to change genres because they're known, they're typecast?
Yeah.
That was her attempt to do that, basically.
There's a few movies I don't like to talk about. That one and the movie Teeth, if you ever seen that.
Oh, yeah. Right.
We don't talk about Teeth.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
If you haven't seen it, definitely watch Teeth if you're a guy, and you'll never want to. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I don't remember what I was talking about. That's what I was thinking.
But the 2014, I just did not like them. Donatello, yeah, he's all nerdy, so it makes sense why he has all the Ghostbusters looking things all over him. But it wasn't my Ninja Turtles. I don't know why they made them look all like that.
They anthropomorphized them way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was okay with the action though, which is what Michael Bay is known for. But then he missed what made the storyline special. What made people love the Turtles. And I think that's where the fault in the film lies, because he didn't understand the material. Yeah.
Now the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, I didn't put it in here because that was still a decent movie. Can't complain with that. Especially with Vanilla Ice with doing a turtle rap and everything.
I consider that movie more like TMNT 1.5.
And then you get Super Shredder.
Yeah.
And Super Shredder was just awesome. Then you come find out who played the Super Shredder. Do y'all know?
No.
No?
Ray Parks.
No. Kevin
that
Nash.
That would have been cool though, but no.
Kevin Nash from WWE was Diesel. Then he was Kevin Nash in WCW, Big Daddy.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was Super Shredder.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. So he's actually plays in another movie we're going to talk about in a minute, but let's go ahead and check out the trailer for Ninja Turtles 3.
16th century Japan. Brave men ride into battle, fighting an evil emperor. With their only hope, a golden scepter that can open the gates of time itself. Now, in their darkest hour, come 4 brave fighters from another time, another place, another species.
You were expecting
expecting maybe the Addams Family?
They're back. And they're back in time.
Hey, dudes, check it out! We're in Shogun!
Once before, demons defeated my ancestors. Now they've come back for me.
Talk about your quantum leap!
My cannons can destroy these monsters, my lord.
Uh-oh, this doesn't bode well.
I love this stuff!
How are we gonna get home?
Somebody dial 911.
I have a feeling we're gonna be here for a very long time. This is the worst rescue I've ever had.
I think I swallowed a frog. I hope it wasn't an ancestor.
New Line Cinema presents
A Lake-orama. Sweet!
the 4 greatest turtles
Hey, all right. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
ever to go down in history.
It's just your ordinary time travel equal mass displacement kind of thing. Kids.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Help, I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
Again, that movie wasn't as bad, but they marketed it because the movie was geared for kids. So it was all about, hey, we were huge for the first 2 movies. We pumped out a lot of toys. Let's make this pump out Ninja Turtle action figures and samurai outfits. And kids are going to go nuts. Their parents are going to buy it for them.
Yep.
Yeah, but who doesn't love samurai outfits?
Not on a turtle.
Because those two go exactly together.
Ninjas and samurais were enemies, actually. They didn't go to get... Yeah.
Logic was out the
so they could
window
be
when
like
we
the
accepted
Romeo and
turtles
Juliet
that
story later.
morphize.
What, Remy?
They could be like the Romeo and Juliet story, but later, you know, we are the future.
Yeah. So I mentioned Kevin Nash being in that movie. He was also in another superhero comic movie, and it's Punisher 1989 versus Punisher 2004 versus Warzone. And this Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, oh my god. I don't know. Have y'all seen that one?
I've got it in my collection, actually.
Dolph
If it has to do with comics, I pretty much buy it. So, but yeah. I actually like, honestly, in all honesty, I haven't watched this in a while, so my memory may be hazy. But I think I like this one more than more than Thomas Jane.
I think Thomas Jane one's the best one out of all of them.
I agree.
What? Better than Warzone? Oh,
Yeah.
both of y'all done fell and bumped your head. That's what that is. Okay.
So the first Punisher movie, comic book rights, they gotta make it. It was okay. I could have done without seeing Dolph Lundgren's ass at the end of it. I'm just saying, as a kid, I didn't need to see that.
I agree with that.
Because to me, even when I watched it, all I could think of was Rocky IV. Because he was the villain, and I'm like, I don't need to see your butt. But
That's pretty
okay.
much why we capitalize on it, though. Like, he just got famous off of that. So they're like, well, what else can we use him in?
Yeah. But his next movie he did with Van Damme was actually really good.
Which one was it? The one after
Universal Soldier.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah. All right, you're right. I agree. Yeah.
But then we go with Punisher 2004, and great movie. Thomas Jane was great in that. That was right after he did Deep Blue Sea. So his acting career was getting popular. Also, another reason that movie was great was filmed in Tampa Bay.
Okay, well, see, that's part of my problem with it is that I waited in line for like 3 hours to be an extra and didn't get to be an extra, and that sucks.
I lived in
So
Ocala
you got the same problem with Punisher that I have with Now You See Me Part 2. Okay.
See, I'm not alone in my pain. You feel this.
But there was a photo in this that movie that I posted where he's standing up against the Russian with the blonde hair, red and white striped shirt, which happens to be Super Shredder right there, Kevin Nash.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
So it's funny seeing him in another comic book movie.
Now that I know that, yeah, definitely.
But I still enjoyed the movie. I'm a huge John Travolta fan, so seeing Travolta as a villain again is great. Because
he's one of the reasons it got made here too.
Yeah.
The thing that I loved about that Punisher movie versus the other ones, like, yeah, he's got a tragic story in that, but that one, like, that was a logical, tragic story. You know, usually it's just the wife and the kids. but setting it up that in his retirement, the entire family gets together and literally every member of his extended family dies.
Yeah. They think he died when they blew him up and everything, and it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. I still watch it whenever it's on TV. If I can catch it, I'll watch it. I have no problem with it. Warzone isn't a bad movie. Warzone was good. Warzone was more true to the Punisher comics, being
That's why I loved
violent
it the best.
and everything. And you had Jigsaw as the villain, which was in the 2004 movie. But I liked it. It wasn't that bad. I would love to see a new Punisher movie with the actor that's doing Punisher. Well, the actor that did it for Netflix.
Bernthal. Yeah, for the TV series or for this guy.
He's great.
And that's a TV show. That's why I didn't put that on the list. But he's probably.
Oh no, they're talking about doing a new movie with him. Is why I was saying it though. They're talking about doing another movie.
If
possibly.
they do, I'd be down.
Having him do it.
Because he does a good version of him. Again, true to the comics, being a vigilante, being violent like Punisher is. Because Punisher's not like Spider-Man. He's not just going to capture you, string you up for everybody, the cops to grab. He's going to beat the crap out of you.
Yeah. If you're lucky, that's all he does.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I totally bawled at the end of season 2. Like, when they hug, like, the moment they hug, I'm like, I'm done. I can't. All right.
But like I said, they're saying, talking about bringing, the rumor is, at least, let me rephrase it. The rumor is that they're talking about bringing a lot of the Netflix actors back to reprise their roles in some of the movies and stuff.
I hope so, because I love the Netflix version of Daredevil.
Yeah. He did a good job, too.
It was great. The only thing I didn't care about is Iron Fist. I'm not a huge Iron Fist fan.
Well, I didn't have a problem with, I like the character of Iron Fist. Their portrayal of him, I think, was off. Like, I won't even blame the actor on that one either. It's once again, I don't think they really understood the character. They just say, listen,
even
if you
in
have
the comics,
Power Man, you got to have Iron Fist. That's
in
the
the
team.
comics, I just was never an Iron Fist fan in the comics. I just never could sit down, read Power Man and Iron Fist. It didn't appeal to me.
Okay, see, I love martial arts too, so that's another reason I like Iron Fist too, when he's done right.
Yeah.
I get bothered just by the idea that all of these superheroes are in New York and somehow crime is still going on.
That's a good point. Because you have Punisher.
Long Island is not that big. Spider-Man gets across it, no problem.
Spider-Man, Blade, Iron Fist, Power Man. Who else? X-Men are located
Spider-Man,
in New York.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
Luke Cage.
The entire Avengers, the entire Fantastic Four. All of the Defenders, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that state shouldn't.
Everybody can have a corner. Like, literally, everybody just you get Central Park, you get the Upper West Side. Like, we're good, you know.
You
get West Harlem?
How is Kingpin a crime boss then with all these superheroes there?
Huh?
How did Kingpin become a crime boss if they got so many superheroes?
Well, I mean, I can excuse that because he was already the crime boss as the superheroes were coming up. So, like, he was already there.
So, speaking of New York superheroes, we're going to keep it in New York. I don't know which movies. I don't know which one's worse. It's because they didn't have a sequel, but they had a spin-off. That's why I put these two together. Daredevil versus Elektra.
Okay.
So, you know who's in the Daredevil movie? We're going to see his photo coming up.
I know. Are you asking me or in general?
Who played Daredevil's best friend?
Oh, that's best friend was Favreau.
Yeah. Before he did Iron Man, he was in Daredevil.
Yep.
So it's,
hey.
So
always the sidekick, never the star.
And another funny thing.
But he's directed this too, though.
So I forgot where I heard this from, but if you see a movie and it says written by and it doesn't say the person's name, it's because the writer is so ashamed of that movie, he doesn't want his name in the credits. And if you look up
that's what happened? Really?
Yes, if you look up on Daredevil, it doesn't say.
I'm looking for it right now. I'm looking on IMDb, so.
Yeah, check it out, and it says written by, and it's empty. It's like, you're ashamed of that movie. And that movie, Ben Affleck for his first comic book movie, you get the origin story, which I can understand doing the origin story. Daredevil's not a big character.
Yeah.
Yeah, for screenplay it says, well, the director and the writer are the same person.
Yeah, but when I pulled it up, it said written by, and it didn't have the name on IMDb.
We go full cast and crew and see what it shows.
But then,
yeah, well, it has his name for screenplay. So if somebody else put their hands on it, so to speak, then they didn't take credit for it.
I don't blame them. I wouldn't take credit for it either.
I say overall, to me, like there were elements I liked about Daredevil. There's almost nothing I like about Elektra. Like the having him get in the hyperbaric chamber to nullify his senses so he can actually rest and sleep. There were elements I liked about it. So like I can't completely say Daredevil's trash. Elektra, I just watched it. I'm just kind of like, no, why, no.
Elektra's one I couldn't get into. Well, I'm not a big Jennifer Garner fan. She's just never been one of my favorite actresses. She does look good in those pants.
Angry, but not.
Yeah.
And not with like an RBF. You know what I mean? Like it's not the RBF thing.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a difference there. That's not what it is.
No, I do like the person that played Kingpin. And I know a lot of people complained Kingpin. Yeah. They're like, they changed Kingpin. He's not a big fat white guy. No, he's not. But how he portrayed Kingpin worked perfectly.
Especially that's why they said they cast him, though, is because they said really nobody else. They were using their terminology. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but basically there was no large white guys with the same acumen as far as just the intimidation factor as Michael Clark Duncan to pull that role off. Like they couldn't portray him as well. That's why they said, we go with black guy. That's got it.
Yeah, and he did a great Kingpin. I loved his Kingpin. He was, especially in the fight scene at the end when he just started pounding down on Daredevil's face.
Oh yeah.
It's like, that's how Kingpin would be. Now, the Kingpin we get in the Daredevil TV show on Netflix is great.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's like my favorite actor of all time. So,
I think Vincent D'Onofrio. He's a great actor. I've always loved everything he did. Yeah. But then we get Elektra, the spinoff, and I'm just not a big fan of it. It didn't do good in the theaters. It kind of tanked. But we do have the Daredevil trailer, and let's go ahead and check that one out.
Are you here to confirm that Daredevil is responsible for this, Detective?
There is no proof that Daredevil even exists.
He can hear it before it makes a sound. He can sense it before it happens. He can vanish before you realize he's there. And he's the last person you'd ever expect.
Police suspected the vigilante Daredevil was the one to bring the criminals to justice.
I don't know why you read that trash.
You want the truth?
Tell me.
She's hideous.
Excuse me. I just wanted to get your name. Does every guy have to go through all this to find out your name?
You should try asking for my number.
I've been following that piece you wrote about the Kingpin.
How do you kill a man without fear?
Let the bodies hit them.
Give me bullseye.
The devil's mine. I hope justice is found here before justice finds you.
How can you be a skeptic?
There's no eyewitness. I mean, you know, Bigfoot has eyewitnesses.
Please.
Not a terrible movie. Still not the best. There's better. But let's move on to one I know you're going to enjoy. Batman 1989 versus Batman and Robin versus Dark Knight. Three totally different styles of Batman.
There you go. Iconic pose right there.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So, I don't think anybody can say anything negative about 89.
I think is going to be number one.
Yes, of course.
And I'll say that because even though Batman kills in it, I think that everything else is way more accurate to the story than Dark Knight or Batman and Robin. Clearly Batman and Robin, but I think that Jack Nicholson is a better Joker than Heath Ledger is.
I agree. Batman and Robin, why do we have bat nipples? Why do we have nipples on a bat suit?
Sex appeal?
Well, I mean, as the character of Batman, you would have different bat nipples. That's the problem. But as the character of Batman, you'd have different suits. They got better, different reasons. But it was just so. I mean, there was so much wrong. A bat credit card, bad nipples. I mean, there was just so much wrong with that particular film.
They've been doing a Batman marathon on like Showtime or something this last week, and I tried watching Batman and Robin twice, and I could not get through it. I'm like, I just got bored the first time, sidetracked, and I'm like, okay, let's watch it again. Nope, I just couldn't do it. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little biased towards Batman and Robin because when that movie came out, I was at like the ideal action figure age.
You were the target demographic.
Just so but hear me out though. I had an exceptionally weird Christmas, right? It just so happened that my dad's friend in summer camp, growing up, was VP of Hasbro.
Ooh.
And my mom like messaged him or something. It was like, hey, you know, Christmas is coming up. There are a couple action figures. You think you can help us out? And apparently he was like, yeah, no problem. And sent everything. Like every Batmobile for the movie, every action figure. Like I had the full collection. It was amazing for that. So I have a slight bias towards that one.
Yeah.
But it does not weigh out enough to say that it's even close to either.
Joel Schumacher's Batman is. I don't know why they went the whole black light version of it, where everything's glowing and stuff like that. Just.
He was trying to take it to a lighter time period. He's trying to take it to where it's more relaxed and more fun, but he overdid it. Like Schumacher isn't bad, obviously, as a director.
The casting,
he just went way overboard trying to bring back what he loved about the series, and like, no, we're past that now.
And I'm fine with George Clooney playing Batman. George Clooney playing Batman, no problem. Even the other person that played Batman, I had no issue with what he did.
Val Kilmer. I'm not a big Val Kilmer fan, although I do have a picture with him because I had to get two Batmans. So.
But the issue I had is Mr. Freeze.
I was actually going to say, we're actually all forgetting one thing.
Freeze.
Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy was a good casting choice, and honestly, I could see Arnold Schwarzenegger maybe pulling off the role with better writing. George Clooney, fine. Alicia Silverstone, the whole Batgirl thing, whatever. Chris O'Donnell as Robin, I was cool with it. But
yeah, I like Robin, actually,
I still stick to my thing I said way back then. Mr. Freeze should have been Patrick Stewart. Older, bald-headed guy.
I agree with that. I don't know if he wanted to do it at that point in time because of this whole Star Trek thing, but
yeah,
I agree. The look-wise and as far as acting ability, he would have killed it. But I do agree with what Remy's saying. If Schwarzenegger had better lines, like if they weren't trying to catch that catchphrase every time because he's known for catchphrases, it'd have been a lot better. But all the puns was crazy.
But again, we've talked about Batman comics, a bunch of different shows we brought up. Batman is another good one. Go ahead, jump into it. There's so many wonderful Batman stories that you can pick up in graphic novels, so you don't have to go searching for that single comics. Graphic novels, if you want to pick up back issues, are the best way to go. I always say that because you can get the whole selection without breaking an arm and bank. Because most graphic novels between $20 and $30.
Well, the main benefit too, along with just the bang for your buck, but also if you want to read a story arc, you don't have to sit and wait a month or a week or whatever the case is. About all these other tie-ins, it's usually all right there.
So we do have a trailer, but we're going to go ahead and skip that trailer because we're running short on time. Let's go ahead with the next one real quick. I have a personal love-hate relationship with this Spawn. We know the story, and just everything is wrong with this movie. Now, how they did Spawn, the cape, the weapons, was great. I don't even mind Leguizamo being the Violator.
He did a great Violator. What are you talking about? You've been violated, girly man. I mean, that was awesome.
But there's stuff they changed, like the names Chapel and Priest, because of issues with the comic rights and everything of those characters. Angelina couldn't be Angelina because technically McFarlane didn't create her all the way. So there was a lot of issues with it. He didn't have his hand in the movie the whole time, making it as dark as he wanted. McFarlane did a cameo in the movie, though. But he's still in talks making a true Spawn movie, how it's supposed to be with Jamie Foxx.
Cool. I don't think it'd be a true Spawn movie. It's supposed to be more like a horror where he's almost like a ghostly entity. So I don't know. I don't know if I would call that a true Spawn movie, but a different take on it. I'll say it that way. I want to see it, so I'm not putting it down. But
one day we'll see it. I don't know what to say else about this movie. It's bad. I still watch it. It's like Howard the Duck. You know it's a horrible movie, but you still watch it.
Well, my two biggest problems with this Spawn movie, I know we got to go for time, but one, Michael J. Fox, while I love him as a martial artist in certain roles, he's not the best actor.
Yeah.
So he's too stiff, in my opinion. And then two, Malbozi looked like a chia pet, and I did never get over that at all. Still stuck on that one.
Yeah. Now, the last one is Fantastic Four 1994 versus Fantastic Four versus Fantastic Four again.
Okay. So the first one is the non-released one?
Yes.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. Which the only thing I liked about that one is that I actually like the costume, the effects they have for the thing. The rest of it sucked.
I like the costume for Doom because it's true to how the comic was.
It was, but it looked like they got the dime store version of it. Though. It's like they got
the dollar store version Dr. Doom out
but
of
it didn't quite hit.
Then you get this Fantastic Four with Jessica Alba, Captain America, and then Michael Chiklis and the other guy.
I don't know the other guy's name, but at least Jessica Alba's fine as hell.
The guy that played Dr. Doom there was fresh off doing Charmed and Nip Tuck.
Yeah.
Then you get
their biggest problem. My biggest problem. I won't say their biggest problem. For the latter two. Well, I guess Fantastic Four and then the reboot Fantastic Four, not the sequel, was this that the storylines like you didn't get them quite right.
Yeah.
It's like to me it's like okay, the easiest thing to do is read the source material, translate that to screen, make it more whatever you got to do, but don't just say we're going to change the storyline if we don't like the way the drama is. The drama's lasted for 40, 50 years.
Yeah. And
Doctor Doom should be the easiest one for you to redo.
I could have thrown the other Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, in there as well.
I like the Silver Surfer, so I was cool with that.
But Galactus,
I did, but I did not like Galactus. The Galactus sucked. That cloud shit.
He's not a cloud.
Why? I don't know why they did that.
But I'm excited they are doing another Fantastic Four movie. It's going to be in the cinematic universe or Sony's
They
universe.
made that announcement?
Well, they did hint it.
Feige said it's coming. Excuse me. They've been hinting at it. So the Easter eggs are there.
Yeah, they did the Easter egg in the last Spider-Man movie at the end. So hopefully it'll happen. Marvel doing it right should work out.
Yeah.
I would be really happy if we got to see Spider-Man with the paper bag on his head.
I'm down with that.
I don't think they would do that, but that would be really cool if they made that happen, though.
But if they're going to do... All right, so one quick thing. In a new Spider-Man movie, however they're going to do it, they need to recreate the meme of Spider-Man pointing at the other one and him pointing back.
Yes.
Somehow they need to
3
do
minutes
that.
speculating on ideas.
Sure.
Let's see. Oh, I think one of them's going to die.
I mean, technically, they kill both of them. It's multiple universes, so... Holland's the only one they have to keep for, of course, further films.
Kill Andrew Garfield.
You think it'll be Andrew Garfield?
I hope so.
So we're going to kill one of the Spider-Men. Which one do you think it should be and why Andrew Garfield?
Because he's total trash.
I like all of them with Spider-Man, honestly. I don't think there's been a bad Spider-Man casting per se yet, in my opinion.
But there are some other movies that are on the list that we weren't able to talk about. I put on here.
That's right.
Howard the Duck is one. Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, Dark Phoenix, Judge Dredd vs. Judge Dredd. The newer Dredd's better than the old. Crow vs. Crow City of Angels. And Jonah Hex
on the list, exactly.
Yeah. Jonah Hex. I couldn't even sit through that whole movie either. That's just another.
Well, I mean, a lot of those. Well, Howard the Duck I was actually okay with in Suicide Squad, but a lot of those, the problems come in once again. If you don't understand the character, you shouldn't be filming a film about the character. Like, do the research, have a passion for it before you start doing a film and say, "I'm just gonna put my stamp on it." Like,
and that's
we're
why
not worried about your stamp. We want the characters on.
With the new movies that are coming out, that's why a lot of people are getting into the comic books now. They're like, oh, I loved Avengers. Let me go back and read all about them.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's definitely good to go back and pick up those graphic novels, and that's why I enjoy doing a show, because we can talk about all that. So if you're wanting to learn what comics to get into and everything, it's a great source material to find out what to read.
Exactly.
Well, actually, speaking of things to get into, and great comics at the same time, did you see the Death in the Family release?
Yes.
Have you watched it, like
No.
the film yet?
No.
Okay, because I haven't watched it yet
no.
either. Supposedly there's 7 different endings.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's one of those multiple choice movies where you can pick what you want.
And
that's how
the
they
writers
did
went back
the
and like
comic,
apparently
though. I didn't know they did it for
changed
film, though.
decisions.
They did what?
The comic is where you can call in.
Yeah.
And
They
choose
took
whether you
that
lived or
to a
died.
whole new
So
level.
Yeah. I can't wait. I need to get it. I definitely won't watch
You
it.
can't get it digital and choose your ending. You have to get like a Blu-ray to choose your ending.
That's fine. I'll spend $20 on a Blu-ray to do it.
Yeah. Just a little FYI, I rented it digitally. I was like, yeah, different endings. They're like, no, you can't do that. I was like, oh.
So you just got the basic ending.
Oh, I didn't even watch it. I was like, I can't. I want to be able to like make
the enjoyment of it.
Yeah. But it
Get the
gives,
full experience.
gives great replay value because you can keep changing it. But we are running out of time. Again, if you want to be a guest with us, email us at home, info@comicbook101tv.com, michaelcomicbook101tv.com. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for all your comic book needs. If you want us to talk about certain comic book, let us know. We'll talk about whatever you want to hear. And it's been great. Thank you, you two. I can't wait to do the show next week. I hope you'll have a great and safe week. And
too.
Remy's missing a finger. We'll see y'all next week on the other side. Have a good week.